I think it was Iris Apfel who said, "I'm not interested in being pretty, I'd rather be interesting." And that quote turned out to contribute greatly into shaping my way of thinking throughout the years. According to Forbes magazine, global beauty industry in 2019 was worth $532 billion and is expected to reach or exceed $800 billion by 2025. From this data alone, we can proudly assume human desire to be physically attractive is quite universal. Wherever we look, from cosmetic brands to fitness gurus to social media apps and filters, the message is clear. In the culture we live in, being pretty is no longer a choice. It's a ticket to social acceptance and validation. Science says people considered physically attractive are also paid more, have better jobs, and stronger social skills. No wonder our obsession with looks has become an integral part of life in the 21st century. And I am not quite sure if it's an entirely positive phenomenon. Then again, I've never been someone to conform to normative conventions of beauty, and I don't necessarily aspire to be such an individual, so the point I'm trying to make here might not even be valid. Keep that in mind. What I do know to be true though is human bodies come in different sizes, shapes, and colors. They do wonderful jobs supporting us in biological functions and everyday activities. And to make it clear, I am thankful for the body I have. But that's all it is. A body. Nothing less, nothing more. It's not a part of my identity, it's not who I am, and no amount of haircuts, crash diets, or social filters can change that. Yes, perhaps a pretty face might get us some external validation really quickly, but then a pretty face alone might also be the reason why we look for external validation in the first place. The general consensus is humans are vain. The way I see it is often what we perceive as vanity is simply a human being with their basic psychological needs unmet. To me, saying the desire to be pretty is something utterly different from the desire to be accepted, liked, noticed is a false dichotomy. We all look for validation and acceptance, for the feeling of belonging. The irony is, we keep looking in the wrong places. Of course, everyone has their own priorities and their own frame of reference, and you don't need to agree with everything I say, yet praising someone purely for the way they look seems to me like a massive disgrace and injustice done to humanity. I strongly believe that, no matter how pretty, looks is actually the least attractive of features a human being can have. Yes, one can live like a decorative ornament on the wall, I suppose, but to me, the vision of a live human being with a great potential to take action is so much more appealing. And this is by no means to say one shouldn't take care of the body to feel good in it. It's just, in my view, the popular culture is galling us with the vision of that social media fairy tale filled with castles and princesses, where the way we look is our prime value and the only asset, which does very little to promote diversity. It's also rather naive and, as far as I'm concerned, incredibly boring. I mean, what message does it send to future generations? How can one preserve the basic sense of self-worth if they're constantly being measured with highly altered measuring tapes? How can we expect innovation and creativity if what we're exposed to is so homogeneous? As I am sure you gathered by now, I feel quite strongly about this subject. But I personally struggle to just sit and watch and not in agreement, as this is not the heritage I want to contribute to. This is not the world I want my children to grow up in. I don't know, maybe it's just the cynical part of me taking over now, but I am genuinely so bored with the culture glamorizing body parts on socials. Yes, you've got 2 legs, so do I. Mine are slimmer, yours are longer, so what? Honestly, nobody cares. After all, we both walk on the same planet. We might even run. And if one of us, for example, decides to run a marathon, now this is something I want to see glamorized and celebrated. Achievements. Achievements showing human beings living and breathing, having courage, being curious, expressing opinions, showing kindness, not being afraid to fail. I want to see honesty and silly humor, honoring both strength and weakness, recognizing our differences. I want to see individuals having the ability to hold a challenging conversation in a civilized manner, respecting boundaries, leading by example, having passions, embracing imperfections. I want to see you and me simply owning who we are. There is nothing wrong with human desire to be pretty, but how about we start looking for pretty in less obvious places? Let me know what you think. Have a lovely day.